Bolzano's theorem is very simple, but we're going to make use of it in our one-point iterative method, so let's talk about it. Essentially, let's imagine that you have a continuous function f of x. And let's imagine that we take 2 points on the x-axis, a and b, such that a is less than b. Bolzano's theorem essentially states that if f of a and f of b have different signs, meaning, for example, f of a is positive, f of b is negative, or f of a is negative, f of b is positive, then the solution to the equation f of x equals 0 lies between a and b, meaning that x is somewhere between a and b. So a very simple way of figuring out why this is visualizing the whole thing. Let's actually draw a simple graph like so. So essentially, let's imagine that you have a function going like this. You take 2 points on it. You take point A and point B. Now, point A gives us a negative f of a. So f of a is negative. And here, the point is actually positive. So here, f of b at this point is positive. So they have a different sign. And because they have a different sign, you can make the assumption that the point where this intersects the x-axis actually lies somewhere in between. Right here, for example. Now the question is, how do you determine whether two things have equal sign? We certainly, in computer programming, we have the signum function, for example. So you would have something like the sign of f of a, and that would give you a 0 if it's positive, and maybe a 1 if it's negative. It depends on the function, actually. But there is a much simpler way, so forget all that. Essentially, you multiply f of a and f of b. So you multiply f of a and f of b. If they have a different sign, the result will be negative, because it will always be negative times positive, which is negative. So f of a times f of b will be negative. Otherwise, for example, if they're both positive, or if they're both negative, the sign will be, the result of the multiplication will be greater than 0. So essentially, all you have to do to make sure that the solution lies between a and b is to multiply f of a by f of b and to check whether it's less than 0. If it's less than 0, then the solution is between a and b. If it's not, then the solution is somewhere else. And that's the gist of Bolzano's theorem, and we're going to make use of it quite a bit later on.